But I used to smoke then. So when I met him, I found him smoking. Instead of pulling out the gun, I just pulled out the cigarette. All I remember is I think I just regretted the fact that I wasn't with him during the last years. And dying without being with him, I kind of felt like I lost some time or some years. And this is the man that brought me to the city. I could have been in the village by now. I mean, I used to come to the city visiting my mother, but he permanently removed me from the village.
Hello and welcome back to Uninterrupted with David Mbeha, the podcast. We are back at our residential home, our podcast home. This is Quisob home right here in Eros, and I think it's the perfect way to experience home away from home in Windhoek. I'm joined on this episode by award-winning and top-selling gospel artist. He is a motivational and an inspirational speaker, and he goes by none other than the one and only Naff. Welcome to Uninterrupted with David Mbeha. It's so lovely to have you on the platform.
Thank you very much, David.
I was saying a bit earlier that I think I met you when I was probably still in primary, very early, grade 4, grade 5, and that's when I got to meet you, obviously. But you were saying that you only knew of me when I won something, right?
Yeah, I remember meeting you and congratulating you for a job well done.
Yes.
I was so proud because knowing that we have somebody from home that went to collect. We were just so happy, and seeing you on that day, I was very happy and proud.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. And this for me is a 360 moment. I was telling one of my aunts, like, I'm going to be having Naff on the show. And she said, please remind Naff about like your mom and how he used to work with your mom. And she always used to say you are a phenomenal person, and when I met you, I really got to see that you are, behind the whole stardom and being the success that you have achieved, just genuinely a very, very nice person to meet. Do you think that's what you get most of the time from the people that you meet about your character?
Yeah, but I do double in different characters because of what I do.
Yes.
As an immigration officer.
Yeah.
So when I'm at the counter and I'm on duty, people are confusing me with the guy that is in the songs.
Yes.
They say when you are singing, you are really sweet.
Yes.
But when you're at the counter, you are full of nonsense. But then that's an officer, and you don't want to compromise when you're on duty there. Yeah. But most of the time, people really go out and say, you know, your songs, my mother talks about your songs. I didn't know that. I was that old for people's mother to really like my songs,
when I think of your upbringing, obviously you were raised by a parent or a father who was part of the armed liberation struggle, right? What was it like growing up in such an environment?
Yeah, when my father left first, he handed me over to my grandmother, and my grandmother did the raising from childhood until he returned. Then he picked me up, brought me to Windhoek in the 90s. Yeah, he was a very strict man, very, very strict. His military kind of upbringing. Yeah, you do what he says, you eat what he buys, and you are up there cleaning and washing things in the house. He was really a tough man, but I think I'm grateful to God that he brought us up that way, because most of us are actually doing better now because of him. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's wonderful. So he then eventually returns from exile, right? Yeah. And there's something that I read that said they wanted a better life for you, so you then had to move to the city. Yeah. What was that like, and what period are we at now?
Yeah, we're talking about in 1988 towards 1989. We were just ordinary village boys, you know. I really never expected that there was a life better than the one I was living in the village, because I got so used to, being in the village with the village boys, we are out there with the sheep or the goats and cows and donkeys, playing in the plains, water, fetching waters, It was a kind of really beautiful lifestyle until he said he wanted a better life for us. And I was thinking, okay, what does he mean by better life? I only understood that years later when I went into Windhoek and I started chasing dreams.
Yes.
And I was now confronted with a city of dreams. People can become anything here.
Yes.
From soccer players to basketball players, models, speakers. And I actually became a basketball player at school. And then later I understood what he meant by a better life. Because in the village, you are not really exposed to dreams. You don't dream, you don't wish to be better. You are subjected to be an African boy until whatever. When you see people returning from cities during holidays, you are impressed by the way they look. They are clean, they smell good, and you feel like probably that is the life they were given, or you don't know that they have chosen to live that kind of life. But otherwise, the better life that he was talking about, I happened to experience it, and I'm living that dream now.
Exactly. So I'm imagining when you came from the village, right? Was it easier for you to adapt, or was there certain things that you kind of struggled with now that you are in the city, even though you knew that you could attain your dreams in the city? But what were some of the earlier struggles?
I struggled a lot because I couldn't speak any English, no Afrikaans, no other language. I only spoke my language, which is Shwambo, 100% Ganjera. I struggled because my father put me in an English school for children that returned from the exiles, so that I could pick up faster. So many people thought I was from exile also, because I was part of the exile kids who were in an English school here, Namibia English Primary School in Windhoek. And then after we graduated primary school, we now have to move into secondary school. And now another challenge came, which is now Afrikaans. So my father took me to Janjonker Afrikaner. I suffered, man.
Where you had to learn Afrikaans.
I have to learn Afrikaans there. So I suffered a lot because they really spoke Afrikaans. They were not joking. We were speaking English better than them, but their Afrikaans was on another level. Talking about Nama, Damaro speaking kids and some of the colors from Komasdal. So I have to be there for about 2-3 years, and I picked up. You have no choice but to learn, and also make friends who spoke the language, and you have no choice but to learn, because they don't speak your language. You just have to learn. And of course, in the process, you are also exposed to other activities like school gangs, and you have to either join or be bullied every day. And when you don't want to be bullied, you join the gang, and that's what I did. I joined the local school gang there, and then also where I was staying, there were also gangs, because I was from Shandumbala, that's Vambolo Kasi Dongeruk. There were some gang there in those years, and I was tired of being bullied. And they say the safest place to be is actually close to your enemies, even though it's very dangerous there, but you are safe. So I just also joined. I didn't have a choice, but I just got tired of being bullied. I became part of some gangs, and my father didn't really like it, because he didn't bring me to the city to destroy his plans. And most of the time I crashed with him, and he would go into the house and pick up some guns. He was a soldier, trying to shoot me or just chase me out of the house because I was disobeying his orders. He wanted me to stay away from the gangs, but I wasn't staying away from the gangs because most of these members were living a good life. They had the money, they had the girls, and they were wearing the best clothes. I wanted to look like that. So some of those are the challenges I faced when I came to the city. The languages, the gangs, and just the lifestyle. But eventually, I disobeyed my father, got into many troubles. I only understood later when I became an adult that he really meant good for me. I was lucky that I survived, but most of my friends didn't. They died in the gangs.
It's so funny because I can relate to your story. I came to the city when I was in grade 4, and my English was not that good. My Afrikaans, I had never heard of Afrikaans in my entire life. So what I used to do in class is, especially the Afrikaans class, every time when we'd have Afrikaans, you needed to stand and speak a bit, whether it's to introduce yourself. And I used to pray always to say, God, please let the bell ring. So every time when it was my turn to speak, the bell would ring, and I knew it was God.
Yes, escaping.
Yeah, but when you talk about being a member of the gang, I think just help us understand, like, what type of things did you get up to in this gang that you were in, for people to have a better understanding?
Like I said, I was tired of being bullied. So the bullies stopped, because eventually people started identifying me with the members of the gangs. They say if you touch him, he's connected to who and who. They may just come after you. So wherever I will go, and if I find myself alone without the members, I will then mention names of some of the members of the gang and say, if you touch me, this person and this person is my friend, or is my brother, or is my cousin, they'll come after you. I got out of many troubles mentioning people's names. Plus, I got things that I always wanted to get for free. I'll get sneakers, I'll get clothes, I'll get money. Because the big brothers in the gang will give you stuff to go on and take care of for them. They will buy you out clothes. Even though I was in school, I used to get so much money given by the gang members. Then women, I don't know, there's something about women and gangsters. They just like bad boys. So I got to get into relationship with beautiful girls. Girls, I know that if I was in the village, I would never have dated them. But I know they probably wanted to be with me because I was a bad boy. I had the money and I was associated and connected to the bad boys. They could not be touched because we would protect them. So it was a beauty in our eyes at that time, but it was also risky because other gangs were watching out for us. Should they find you in any corner alone, you are in trouble. Because in the 90s, towards the 90s, the end of the 80s, when the gangs were really dying out slowly, it was like in fashion for gangs to fight against each other. So every week there is always a fight, gangs fighting against each other. You find this one from this location against the Hereros, and then you find the Hereros against the one-way Pangas. These are the Malacca Dries and the Damara location guys. And somebody somewhere is always stepped. Some lost their eyes, some died, some in the hospital and ICU. I was also in the ICU. I was stabbed with a knife in front of a Lago supermarket by a gang member there. And I went to ICU, spent my probably about 3 months there. It was just a risky, stupid lifestyle. It's not the lifestyle that you can even encourage anybody to try. We were just chasing. It's like in the era where we are now, we're in the era of like TikTok and social media. Then there was an era of Kwaito and hip-hop. There is a wave that was moving, and you don't know why you were chasing after such a wave without even understanding or being afraid of the risk. We were just going with the wind, even though it was really dangerous for us.
Yeah. But then at what point do you realize that this is not the life that I actually want for myself? When was that turnaround point?
I was in the hospital when I was stabbed and in the ICU. And when I recovered, I started thinking about what my father initially was telling me. I want you to go to the city and be a good boy. Now I'm in the hospital and this guy who stabbed me is out there doing his thing. So I planned some revenge while I was in the hospital. So I had a cousin of mine who normally he was in the, I cannot mention the gang, but it's a bigger gang in the city, from Bambo location also. And what he normally do, he would go to clubs in the night and leave his gun on top of the TV. When I came out of the hospital, I took that gun and went to the location to look for the guy who stabbed me. Initially, I found the guy. But now, I don't know why I couldn't shoot him, but I used to smoke then. So when I met him, I found him smoking. Instead of pulling out the gun, I just pulled out a cigarette and I asked him for the light. Yeah. So he just gave me the light, and then I continued smoking and I walked away. So I felt like God was kind of like directing my life. And then as life continued to progress, my father eventually chased me out of the house because of my activities. So I went to stay with my mother in Golgotha 13. There I got introduced to some gangs again. So it was just gangs after gangs. And then this time, while I was there, some cousins of mine came from the village after graduating grade 12. And one of them, Moses, he came to stay with us. I didn't know the guy was a member of a student Christian movement from the school he came from. He was very, very deep in scriptures and Christianity. And that time I didn't believe anything. I was just an atheist. I believe there was no God then. Every day, because we shared a room, so every day he would be talking about God. Non-stop, man, the guy would not leave me alone. And he used to witness my lifestyle every day. I'll bring girls at home, because I had about 27 girlfriends at that time. So I'll bring girls after girls every night. And he didn't like it because he needed to give way for me to be with these girls on the bed. So the only way to stop me from bringing these girls to the house was to preach. And perhaps if I believe, I would definitely stop and abandon my lifestyle. So eventually one day I just made a deal with him and I said, you know what? I want you to stop preaching. And if you stop preaching, I'll go with you to church. So he said, okay, you go with me to church, I'll stop preaching. It was 1998, 11 January, I remember. So I went with him, I went to church. That was the day I was arrested by the Holy Ghost. So that message that came out that Sunday, it is what saved my life. So when the preacher started preaching, it felt like somebody described my whole life to him. And then I just stood up and made a decision that from today on, I'm going to follow Jesus. I'm sick and tired of this lifestyle, alcohol, drugs, and women. It must end today. It was 1998 that everything ended. So I went back to the guys, went back to the girls. One by one, I told them, you know, guys, something like this happened to me on Sunday. And I'm convinced and I'm convicted in my heart that God has entered my heart. I'm out. So I got out. I mean, some of my friends went to jail. I mean, you know, people like Ninja. He was like a big brother to me. If you listen to his interview on Namibian Sun, he talked about it there also. So these are guys I looked up to, and I wanted to imitate him. I wanted to be like him. And eventually he got arrested and was sent to prison, life in prison. He got lucky now because after 26 years, he was released. But not everybody got that luck.
I mean, so you get, of course, the turnaround, and you are now fully reformed from, the gang life and all that. But then obviously, your friends are still your friends. How did you make that decision to sort of separate yourself? Because, I can decide today to choose a new life, but my phone is still going to ring because my friends are still my friends. But how did you make that decision to, completely remove yourself?
What you do, you don't completely cut yourself off. What you do is first you go back to them. Because it's like finding water in the mountains when everybody else is lost in the same mountains. You call your friends to come and drink from the water. So what I did is that I went to some of my friends and I told them, listen, man, something like this have happened in my life. I don't want to have anything to do with this lifestyle anymore. If you are willing, you can come with me. Some of them came. Some ladies came. Some, after coming and they discovered that I was very serious, then they gave up. Some of them are still serving. Some are pastors now. I'm glad actually some people who used to carry guns back in the days, some of them are big pastors now. Some of the ladies are married now they have great and beautiful families. And some decided, no, that's not the path they want to follow. So you don't force the people, you just let them be, because in life we choose. And every choice that you make in life will determine where you go. So even though you wish people well and you wish them good, you just do what you have to do. You say, I've done my part. Because if you don't reach out to them, somehow, somewhere, God is going to hold you responsible. But these are the guys that you used to commit crime with. You came out after seeing the light. They too needed to see the same light. You kept quiet. You never spoke. If you have spoken, I could have just entered into their hearts myself. I don't need your help. All I need is just for you to say something. I'll follow it up. So I did what I did, and I'm glad actually most of them, especially the high school guys, most of them are in the church now, and I'm proud of them. I'm praying for them always, and they are doing the same. And the women, of course, I have now no. That's why I don't like talking about them and mentioning their names, because we did what we did when we were teenagers, and now these people are married. If you mention their names, their husbands will be offended. But I'm proud of who they become now. They are mothers, and they are doing well. Some are doctors, some are lawyers now. And I'm really proud of these people. And that was life. So we look at the memories and we talk about it.
So you then form part of the Glamour Boys. And you get the opportunity to then go and perform in France. Tell me how that opportunity came about.
The FNCC is the Franco-Namibia Cultural Center. When it was first established in Namibia, we were students at Jan Jonker. And we were enrolled in the school with the first students of the Franco. So when they were now were given, or when they won the bid to host the World Cup, all countries in the world who had French students were invited to partake. So if you are a soccer player or a singer, you can go and showcase your talent. So they took the junior Brave Warriors, and with Mr. Rustin Mohani, we went together. And then the singers, it was the Glamour Boys. So this was now a combination of the Elvo them and the Glamour Boys. So we call ourselves Glamour Lashes. Because Elvo them were the noble lashes to destiny. We were the Glamour Boys, so we combined the name. They were rappers, we were singers. So we just combined, while they are rapping, we are singing. So the Franco now called us and they told us, this is going to happen, we are going to pay your tickets, give you pocket money, hotels are paid and booked. So you'll be performing where during the celebration of the World Cup. And that's when they even won the World Cup and beat Brazil.
Yeah. So at what age are you at this point?
I was a young man, 98. Yeah. 20-something, man. 22 there. Yeah.
Okay, so while you're in France, you then received the tragic news of the passing of your dad.
My father died, yeah.
What do you remember from that moment?
All I remember is I think I just regretted the fact that I wasn't with him during the last years. And dying without being with him, I kind of felt like I lost some time or some years. And this is the man that brought me to the city. I could have been in the village by now. I mean, I used to come to the city visiting my mother, but he permanently removed me from the village.
It changed your life.
So his words now started playing back in my heart, in my memories. I want you to be a better person. I want you to go to the city, become like other kids who are doing great. And when I came back, the burials, everything has already taken place. I just needed to go and see the family and greet them, and that's it. But it was a painful one because I never grew up with him. The few years that I was supposed to stay with him,
you kind of lost that.
I lost that because I was misbehaving. He kicked me out of the house because he was doing the right thing. I was the one misbehaving. So I started misbehaving, and he kicked me out, and then I probably just stayed with him for 4 years or so, all his life. So I missed out a lot, but I'm glad that he meant good for me. And
how were you able to reconcile with, something like that? I'm imagining when you lose somebody, and especially knowing that what they did for you and how they really meant well for you. How did you reconcile with the fact that now he's gone, and even though you guys never resolved or came to a resolution before he passed?
You see, later in years, I became a motivational speaker. And I became an inspirational speaker. Going from school to school, I went all over the north, Windhoek, universities, prison. I used that to communicate a lot to the young men because I realized that most of the houses that are broken because of the absence of a father. The mothers are doing a lot in our country. Mothers and grandmothers, the fathers are absent. Until the fathers return home, there will always be a vacuum in the life of a young man. And that young man will go out there and look for a father figure, either on television or in the gang. Like what I did, I looked for one in the gang, I looked for one in the television. I admire people like Snoop Dogg and Tupac them. I dressed like them, I spoke like them. At school we used to imitate them and sing their songs. We will sing Boys to Men songs like In the Still of the Night, Blue Moon, in the toilet. That's what actually made us who we are today, by imitating those people. Which means then, if a person can become enough just by imitating, you can also become a criminal by imitating. Life is all about copying. Everything we learn, even whether you are making love, all the style that you have copied from somebody. So you must then copy well, imitate well. So when I went to schools and I went to universities, I encourage young men who are about to leave school, who are about to graduate, to always consider that should you get married one day or have children one day in the future, do not abandon these kids. Of course, my father did not abandon me. Speak to them, continue speaking even if they are not listening, because one day they will remember that he spoke. And because he spoke, he meant well, and I am who I am today. Because the voice will never disappear from your memories. When you are going left, you always hear that voice. turn right. Yeah, even though he's not there, that voice continued to be there. So I started speaking and speaking. Before I know, I was there preaching, even in churches. I started preaching from church to church, school to school. Even today, I preach in the church. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
if your father was here today, what is the one thing that you would say to him?
I would just say I'm sorry. Yeah, I would definitely apologize to him. Like, especially there were moments I used to be in the street, sleep in the street, because he kicked me out of the house, and I couldn't go to my mother. My mother then was married to somebody else. So what I would do, I would just go in the street corners there and find a place and sleep. Then sneak in the house in the morning and shower, and then after showering, off to school. But I can't be in the house when he's there, because he'll deal with me. So I would just say, I'm sorry. I believe that you meant well. And then I also say, if he was here, man, I could have done so much. I would take him out to the movies, go and watch movies with him, and take him to my events and shows, because one of the few things that I regret, especially with him, my mother and my grandmother, is the fact that they never lived to see Naff. That period never showed up in their life. And this is the period they were supposed to enjoy. Because when I became Naff, I had access to many things. I had access to money, access to places, I could take them any place, anywhere. I remember when I launched one of my videos with the Nam Gospel United, it's called No Longer Slave, with Lady Mayhem. I booked the cinema there, Cinema 5, the big one, and then launched it there. It was so packed. I imagined that day, and I was thinking, if only they were here to see what their son has become. Yeah, because they are scolding me in the 90s, only manifested in the 2000s. Yeah, and they are not here to see. Both of them, mother, father, grandma, everybody gone. Yeah, I'm not having anybody like. I have a few aunties left, but all the main figures are gone out of my life. Yeah, and it's a moment that I wish they were here to be able to see, to give them CDs, give them certificates, take them out, and just say, I am a product of your upbringing, and I'm grateful to what you have done for me. Yeah. What keeps you going in the midst of difficulties? What has kept you going, and what still keeps you going? The fact that there is always a brighter day. If I have seen wars in life, I have friends like the ninja that I have mentioned. I'm with this guy every day, and I'm with him every Sunday. I pick him up to church every Sunday. Because when he influenced me negatively in the 90s, and I could have died because of him. So when they said that he was going to be released, I made it a point to influence him positively. So I was the first one to grab him. I said, you are going with me to church. And till today, he never missed. And then he's doing so well. So when I look at him, and I look at the years he spent there, and the things he did in the 90s, and then I read newspapers of somebody who killed himself because he discovered that the child he thought was his is not his. I compare his issue with this guy's issue, and I'm like, this guy cannot see that there's a brighter future tomorrow. His issue is, you see, sometimes if you can just ask around and find out what people are going through, you will discover that your problems, my guy, is a kindergarten to somebody. And now this guy, they just did this boxing thing with Harry Simon. He just bought himself 2 cars. He's operating as a young girl. Now people are signing in every day. He's making money. Somebody who was like society gave up. To me, answering your question is to see when I see that, I say that there are people who believe that tomorrow is better. But you have to apply discipline for you to be able to see that day. There are a few things you need to give up. You know that, you see, I made a video the other day, I said, you see, not every food that is put on your table should be eaten. Because there's so much delicacies in front of us every day. Like what I said, I had 27 girlfriends. These are beautiful women. You can't be in a gang or be a celebrity and not date a beautiful lady. But for you to be able to give up these beautiful women, it means that you are giving them up for something more beautiful than that. So if you are able to see this delicacy before me, I must give it up. It means that you are giving it up for what? That which you are giving up this for must be greater. So I look at myself and I say, okay, village boy, gang member, street kid, now DNAF. If I continue believing the way I believed when I was young, maybe there is something greater than DNAF. So there is always a brighter day after the rain. That's what keeps me going.
That's very much true. And what would you say is then giving you purpose? I mean, you've had such how would I say, a very difficult journey in the early beginnings. I mean, from the gang life to then finding Christ to now being a motivational speaker and sharing your stories with the hope that it changes somebody else. But what is giving you purpose nowadays?
You see, there are two things you must discover for you to be able to understand your purpose. You discover why you were born, that day that you were born. You must first ask yourself why. Because you were not the only one that you were shot out of your father's.
Yes.
You understand? Why did you survive when the other sperms died? That, if you can answer the why, you'll be able to understand the tomorrow. Because your father and mother have been together for many years. And some of you were only born two. But it doesn't mean they only had sexual intercourse twice. They've been together for years, doing it, and only the two of you came out. Why the two of you? Why not the millions that did not make it? That why, if you can answer the why, you'll be able to understand that there is a reason why you survived. It means that there is something you must do. And humanity is depending on you to be able to benefit from you. Even as you are watching this podcast, somebody out there is watching and is like, man, I just needed to hear that. Imagine if you did not record this episode. That person there who wanted to kill himself would say, there's no hope. Now they say, you mean somebody went to prison 26 years and I just went 6 months? Mine is nothing, man. Your contribution to society is much needed, highly appreciated and very much needed. So what keeps me going is the discovery of why I'm here. I'm not here for an accident or by mistake. I'm definitely here. Even I tell people, even when I speak to students, your circumstances that surround your birth have nothing to do with what you can become. You know, when you look at schools today, like I have kids, I drop them at school every day. We are married with a mother. You see, you see other kids who come from homes that when the parents are not married, there is a difference. I tell those kids, it doesn't matter whether you were born out of wedlock. If you can understand the why you were born and push towards the mark, you might excel and become better even than the children who were born in holy matrimony. The fact that you are here, you are existing in time, you matter already. And God allowed you to be here and you mean a lot to Him. You are a living soul and that soul needs to be utilized. So the why I'm here keeps me moving and I know my why. I'm here to touch lives. I'm here to contribute to humanity. I'm here to be able to change 1 or 2 people per day or per year. If I can speak to only 5 people per year and they change permanently, like I'm doing with Ninja, I'm with him every Sunday. I'm praying and I'm hoping that I'm speaking to him every day. I don't want you to ever think about going back to that lifestyle. And he is always, even when we are driving by, he tells me, Dinaf, I hate even looking at that place. I don't know what came into my mind. I say, I understand. We were all being used. There are 2 energies in the universe that are all at work using humanity. God and the devil. Whoever is available to any of these forces will be used. Definitely.
No, that's true. And what would you say has been one of the most difficult things to accept about yourself?
I think in the beginning I was struggling with sticking to one woman in the beginning because I was so used to having many. So the kind of discipline that I needed to go through was very, very harsh on me because I'm a person that every day or every week I needed to be with a woman. And when I needed to shift now and prepare myself to marry and be committed to this one person and give up all these beautiful people, it was difficult for me. You give it up and then the memories of the time you had together, and then of course what helped me then later was just the people that surrounded me at that moment. There was a group of brothers that we would be sitting together and study the word and pray together, and they would encourage me with their own stories. And then it took like 20 years. Yeah. Took me 20 years to completely be able to be with a woman and not think about anything funny. Yeah, I can never imagine right now taking somebody's daughter who's not my wife to bed anymore. And I'm not saying that I don't have feelings. Feelings are there every day, because I make this statement to say there are people watching and they are in the same situation.
Yes.
Now they will think maybe I think I'm better. No, I was addicted like that every day. Sexual activities every day. But I can boast right now here, people watching me, that there is no woman that can say I was with Naff last night, last year, 5 years ago. It's not possible. I will give you $10,000 if that person comes out. But they were there always, every day. But the discipline that I applied, it's painful, because now you have to please a master, which is my God now. I have to please him, and there are promises attached to his promises, to his discipline. That if you do this, I will do this. If you don't do this, this will happen. So plus, I have a lot of people I'm leading now. So many people are looking upon me. I have kids. And even though, there's a law in the atmosphere that says what you do, it will happen to you or it will come back. There's only one way you can destroy that or kill it. You have to reverse it and stop doing what you are doing. Yeah, so looking at the children, I'm thinking, do I want my daughters to be part of the 27 girlfriends of somebody one day? You understand? Do I want my son to be in the gang? So what I do is that, okay, I'm going to apply discipline, I'm going to cut it off, I'm going to go through the program, then and see what God will take me through. Eventually, I was able to look at the life and I'm just say, wow, how did I get here? The things I survived, the knives, the bullets, the guns, wow, those are only God. Because I remember in high school, in the gang, some gang from other school, the gang just came up to us from in the hostel and pointed a gun in my face because I slapped him. He pointed that gun in my face and he couldn't shoot. I was highly drunk, intoxicated. I was talking nonsense, didn't fear nothing. 10 years later, I met that same guy in the church. Then he asked me, do you remember me? I said, no. He said, you slapped me at school, man, and I almost shot you. Then I remembered. I asked him, was that the real gun? He said, that was a real gun, fully loaded. And my other two friends also had 2 guns. And we asked ourselves a question when we left. Why didn't you shoot that guy? Now we understand why we didn't shoot you. God was looking for you. Yeah, so the other regrets, I don't really regret them. I think those are lessons I've learned. I learned so many things in life, lessons I can apply now and help other people not to go through the same things. Those I don't regret. I think I like some of the experiences. Yeah.
What is the part of you that you wish people knew more of?
I'm very nice, really sweet. I'm a very nice guy, but it doesn't show. Yeah, it doesn't show. I've seen it many times when I walk into a place, people just give way. They judge the way I walk. Because you see, this walk I'm walking now, it came about when we were in high school, just imitating.
Yes.
We were imitating the churches and the gangsters and the Americans. It just got stuck with me.
Yeah.
This is now all I know how to walk. So whenever I'm walking into a crowd, people give way. But then when they come to church on a Sunday, and then the pastor says, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome the person that is going to share the word to this morning, Deacon Naphtali. I'm like, huh? Even this guy is preacher. No, you see. So they don't know that part of me that this face is deceiving. My heart is a very sweet and pure heart. Yeah, just because maybe of years of being in the other side have created this persona, and sometimes it scares people. I remember I used to drive taxi. And you are supposed to be in the queue. Me, I just drive and park in front. And people will not come and bother me because of the persona. There's Vambalokas guys again. But inside I was also scared. I'm like, what if this guy just come in? But they don't know. So why the people don't know about me, I'm sweet, very sweet, or very nice.
No, that's wonderful. And I think it's been such a wonderful session, getting to know more of your life, but also the inspiration that you are. And from the moment that you open your mouth, you are full of inspiration. And that's because you have lived that life. it's not a story that you read, it's not a book, it's something that you lived and you're able to speak on it authentically, and that's really beautiful. In terms of what you're creating and creating a legacy, what would you like your legacy to be known for?
I just want people to remember me as a lifter of men. I want people to be able to remember me as a lifter of men. And that is to say, wherever I go and I see a brother down, I always want that person to be lifted up. Because there is a way life can change in the course of time, where that same person can come to your rescue one day. When you are at your strongest in life, help somebody. Because you will not always be very strong. Never. There was a time David was a mighty warrior. He defeated Goliath. The Bible says, later in years, 5 brothers of Goliath showed up and they wanted to challenge him. At this time, he was very old. He didn't have that same strength he had when he defeated Goliath. Who came to his rescue? His warriors. The warriors that were with him came and went and fought those guys and defeated them on behalf of David. But he was once a mighty warrior. When you're at your strongest, help somebody who is at their weakest. Because one day in the course of time, those people will just be strong, and that is when you need them. That's what I think there's a song by Lucky Dube. He says, when you go up there, do not destroy the ladder, because you might need it on your way down. So I think if life was to be like that with most of us, Namibia would be a beautiful place, because such a small population, nobody's supposed to suffer. All these millions disappearing and things. It's 3 million people, you can handle them. If the strong can just lift up the weak, and then in return the weak will respond one day.
That's such a beautiful way to end this session. And thank you once again for making the time to come and chat with me about it. And you are honestly great. I knew you were all great, but listening to you now, I just have so much respect for you, and may you continue with the kind of work that you do. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. It was an honor being here.
Thank you.
All right.
This has been another session of Uninterrupted.